Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna just make a comment here that reorged how this works. Yeah, so Restream should, yeah, so I think it was just because I signed into Restream a while ago and maybe like resetting my, I don't know, my Google account password broke. The Restream still thought it was signed into YouTube, but it really wasn't. That's my like my best guess. So now we'll see. Signed into YouTube, but it really wasn't. Yep, there we go. There's my stupid voice, my stupid face. Now I'm live on YouTube. Very cool. I guess I want to kind of prove I'm live on. Ooh, sorry. Live on. Oh, I did. I'm on Twitter. Cool. So then how does chat work? I am on the YouTubes. Does that show up here? I'm on the YouTubes and I see that. Cool. All right, get out of here. All right, I'm going to just explain a little bit this real fast. Yeah. How we structure the Mongo. I think I should probably do this. Uh, 4.4. Just to have a comment there, I'm going to add my review of my own PR. That's how pros do it. Looks good to me. Prove my own code, pat myself on the back. And I'm going to merge. I kind of like to squash. I'm going to squash and merge. Anyway, all right. How is the stream quality? Because the quality is technically Restream's quality and not mine. I'm on gig synchronous fiber, by the way. So if Restream's quality sucks, there's nothing I can do about that, but fantastic. Cool. I'm crisp. All right. Now that that's done, merged, let me just throw this puppy over here. Get pull. Pull that there. And then, because I own this repo, I've also got this. I've created a little workaround for myself where, because I want to commit my own stuff somewhere. My own like vars file, my hosts and all that stuff. But I don't want it to be public. I don't want it to be in this repo. The problem is I can't fork my own repository. So what I've done is I've made another private repo, and I have this one as an upstream. So I'm going to pull from this public upstream and merge it into my repo. And then I'm going to push to my private origin. If anyone can follow that, hats off to you, because it took me a bit to figure this out. So git remote, this will show me, here's my private repo in GitHub, but I also have a remote called public. So I'm going to git pull from public into this branch here. And now it's going to say, oh, wait. Do I have to say git pull public main? There we go. What have I committed? Git push. That should just push to origin, right? To merge the remote branch into mine. All right, crap. What is different? This should be fine. Oh, Nightbot is still running. Weird. All right. What's going on here? This is my squash on public main. And then I have... I thought I squashed that. Did GitHub not squash it? What the heck, GitHub? Yeah, it should have squashed it here. All right. Problem is if I push right now, I'm going to bulldoze over some of my private stuff. Hang on. Work thing. Hang on. All right. No work stuff. Cool. How do I want to rebase on top of beautiful. That did it. So I had two differing Git histories, but rebasing like put them back in the order they're supposed to go in. So here's a local branch, but now I've got it. This commit basically here is the same as this being merged, but now it's been placed correctly in the timeline. You see now it matches up here. It's got a different ID because I have to like rewrite my private repos history to make this happen. Anyway, I should just be able to git push and be fine. Yeah, perfect. Whew. This is why I like running git commands all the time instead of like in VS Code, you know, relying on a GUI or whatever. Because then you don't know how to like handle these scenarios, right? Yeah, Moonlander. Yeah, I use Dvorak, by the way, and Neovim, by the way. So, yeah, I really got the Moonlander because at the time, the Kinesis Advantage 360 Pro plus, whatever it was called, was sold out. And I was like, I don't want to wait forever. So I got the Moonlander and actually really, really like it. This is the Moonlander like Mark 1 or whatever. I hope they change a couple things if they ever come out with a new version of this. One thing that really bugs me is, like, I'm kind of married to this keyboard now. Kind of useless on a laptop keyboard. I can't use Tmux as well, you know, because I've got all my custom stuff on this keyboard. But if you have the Moonlander or have seen it before, the thing that changes, like, I can hand unscrew this leg, but I can't hand unscrew the leg for the thumb cluster. This one. It needs an Allen wrench. Why? They just give it some ridges and let me hand unscrew it. So now I've got to like carry this Allen wrench anytime I travel with this keyboard. I can't just pack it up and unpack it and set it up with my hands. I have to have this Allen wrench. That's annoying. I hope that they fix that. That's kind of my only gripe, actually, is that. So. $700. Wow. Can't you order it from like Amazon and it'll be cheaper? I don't know. I didn't think it was that much. But anyway. Anyway. And I've got notifications here. Let me shut these up. Ow, that's annoying. Yeah, so the Kinesis was more expensive than this one anyway, so that was another reason. This one was more wife approved because it was a little cheaper. So anyway. All right. So I want to transition real quick into like demoing FluxNode install and what the heck is this? How do you even use it? Well, maybe I should zoom out. That'd be better. What is this? How do you use it? How do you start from scratch? I'm gonna demo this from scratch real quick. Yeah, let me get out of here. I don't care. Cool. Clean this up. I will just do code. Yeah, okay. Nothing's here. So, FluxNode install is, this. Let me do this. It's an Ansible way to deploy your FluxNodes. And it deploys everything you need as long as you provide the config for it, right? Where are your servers and what's your Flux information? If you don't know anything about this, it's no more information than like Multi-Toolbox would ask of you, right? What's your collateral? What's your Zell ID? What's your collateral index? Do you want a Discord webhook? Do you want a NIC ping? All of that stuff, right? Just provide it in a variable file in YAML. Ansible likes YAML, and it will deploy it. So I'm kind of going to walk through this. I've got a guide out here for it, but like I said, it's sometimes really nice to just see a video of it. The only thing I'm not going to do is I can't fork this repo. You technically don't have to, but it's kind of recommended. Just fork this repo and then it's yours. You can do whatever you want. You can still get upstream updates, whatever. But I'm just going to make a fresh clone and go through how to go from not having this at all to using Ansible to deploy all of your Flux nodes, which is what this whole project is about. So first thing you're going to do is come and clone this, right? Let me pull up a repo. Git clone. Here it is. So if I crack this open, it's got some config baked in, right? But otherwise it's all just like templated stuff. There's no information in here. So I'm going to start with my hosts, which is like, what is the server, or what are my nodes, right? How I found you, but hey, here we are. Yeah, how did you find me? That'd be interesting. I'm always curious when new people come in and start chatting. Where are they from? How'd they find me? I have no idea. Twitter? I don't know. Glad you're here though. So we can follow the template. There's a couple doofus VMs defined, commented out. I'm just gonna do all.children. I'm gonna make a group. I'm gonna say, so this repo is sort of for a couple different people. It's for someone like me, where I'm only gonna use it to deploy nodes that I own, just for myself. Or there are a lot of node providers out, like hosting providers out there, and they have to keep track of 50 different customers, and these 3 nodes are for customer 12, and customer 5 has 4 Nimbus nodes and a Cumulus node, and they sort of have to keep that up. You can organize your inventory this way. So I'm going to tailor this as if it's a hosting provider. It's much simpler if you just do it yourself, but so I'm gonna just pretend like I'm setting this up for customer 1. All right, that's my group. So I've got my customer 1 group, and I'm gonna say yeah, doofus 0, or I don't know. Where the heck is my underscore? What the heck? Customer 1, Cumulus 0. I don't know. Some way to differentiate. Let's do that. Let's do this. I just have to peek at a thing here. I'm basically just going to steal this. Yeah, okay, API port can be that. This will be 0. Customer vars, so gateway 10.0.0.1 user equals customer 1. The Ansible user is that, because that's what I use. So here's an inventory, right? This is defining a group of servers, and in this group, there's one server, and it's got some variables attached to it. So the variable Ansible host for that VM is 10.0.0.10, right? And all these other things. And then in this INI file, again, this is all Ansible. If you know Ansible, great, but a little explanation. Because this is a group, these variables that I've defined over here, like this one here, API port, these variables are specific to this host, to this server. But I want to just apply some variables to the entire group, right? If I had a few servers here, let's call this one 1 and this one 2. Whoops. Back that up. Come here 2. And like these would all be different, right? 1. Dadgummit. 2. Like all these are unique, but then these same variables apply to each one of those, the entire group, right? So that's what we're doing here. They all have the same gateway for that customer. Let's say they're all that customer. And I'm going to SSH in as the same user. Cool. We've got a host. We've got a fully configured host file. Now it's time to fill out this stuff. This would actually be customer 1. This is who we're going to SSH in as. So tech doofus. And you know, we've got all this documentation here on what these are, if they're optional or not. Again, and all this is in this sort of getting started document. I'm just sort of like walking through this. All the same documentation is here. I'm just showing you how easy it is to go from scratch, right? So let me come and grab some of this info out of Zelcore real fast. What is this? Cumulus 0. Zel ID. What's my Zel ID? I keep clicking the wrong thing. I'm still clicking the wrong thing. I'm still clicking the wrong thing. There we go. All right, so here's my Zel ID. This is all public anyway, so who cares? I'm going to leave that blank. Yeah, okay. Let me come back in here. Edit. There. So my identity key would be this. Index is always my index is 0. Force new chain false. So for what this setting is for is there are some quirks where on a node, if you're doing maintenance or something and you want it to re-download the bootstrap, you want it to re-extract and recreate the blockchain on your Flux node, you would set this to true. Force it to re-download a fresh chain from the official source. I'm running this against a node that already exists. I don't want it to refresh. It's already like updating itself. But if there was an issue with the blockchain, I could force this on a node. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave my webhook blank. I'm not going to set up Watchdog. EPS, this will just be 90 because I'm setting up this against a Cumulus node. These are all going to be 1. I'm lazy, so just auto update everything. 111. None of that. Okay, T0. I don't care about label. EPS is defined up above. Index is defined up above. So I just need to grab my collateral for this. Oh, there we go. And I don't care about block ports right now. All right, so that's my whole config file for a fresh node. Like bare minimum, that's all it takes. And then let's go code temp flux right here. So a freshly cloned repo. Up above, I've created 1 VM in my host entry with all the required fluff. I've created like the bare minimum you need information wise. If I was going to have if I had like 5 nodes, I would just start cloning this, and this would be the collateral, you know, each collateral, right? Just change your keys. So, you know, this collateral is marked T0. This collateral is marked T1. And if I had more VMs, I would just change, you know, on Cumulus 1, let's say, it would map to collateral T1 over there. Inside of the customer 1 user in the YAML, grab collateral T1. Inside of customer 1, map to collateral T1 or T0. And so that's how you can, like I said, let's say we had another customer. Customer 2, perfect. Make me something. 10.0.0.20. Who cares? Fill in the blank. Vars. Let's just say they're the same gateway. Who cares? user is customer 2, and I'm going to SSH in as the same user. I would come here and make a second user, customer 2, and it would have all this same information. What's the Zell ID for customer 2? What's their webhook? And then the collaterals for customer 2. So like I said, I'm just going to copy this so it looks nice. But this is how you, with a single file, would handle all your customers and deploy nodes for a bunch of different people and stuff, is you would set it up like this. You know, this would be a different Zell ID. Let's just make that 4. Who cares? H, whatever. Doesn't matter. And then these would be different collaterals that would map to different hosts for that customer, right? So I'm going to get rid of this, but that's an example of how you would grow your inventory file. You grow your YAML. Once you get it set up for one, it's really easy to like keep growing it. And then I'm just going to clean this up real fast. Clean that up real fast. I don't need any of that stuff. Okay. Back to here, back to one node. And now I can just run Ansible, playbook, Flux, right? It's going to automatically, Flux. I'm just going to leave that command there. We're going to run this playbook, which automatically is going to run against the all group. It's going to auto import these variables. We just made these. We just, customized user.yaml. It's going to auto import this. And then this Ansible config file auto points to our host file. So you don't have to specify the variables file and tell it where the hosts are. It's going to automatically run against the all group. And we've already said, oh, customer 1 is in the all group. So it's going to automatically run. I better get rid of that. Good thing I checked. Against customer 1. And it's just going to, because I already have SSH key access set up, Ansible's just going to SSH in and do the whole node. It's as easy as that. The benefit to this over the typical running multi-toolbox is I don't have to SSH in and then run multi-toolbox manually on 10 different nodes. As long as all 10 are in my host file, it'll just run it against all 10. I'm gonna close this and come over to, oops. There. So this is my stuff. I've got like 5 nodes or whatever. It's running in and doing it all against all 5. And if you had 100 nodes, it would do it on all 100. So this is the project, right? Is Ansible to do setting up your nodes, configuring things. If you want to go in and change your webhook, you just change it in your var file, run the Ansible, and it's going to go and get that updated on all your nodes, wherever it needs to be updated, right? So that's the project. That's the demo from scratch. There you go. Cool. All right. I'm behind on chat, so I'm so sorry. I just wanted to focus on that. Snake kebab case naming. Yeah, so Ansible specifically is picky about snake case. I kind of prefer camel case personally. I'm not a huge stickler, but like the linter requires if I find a task, this is a bad example. What the heck is this song? Yeah, if I change this to like Flux OS, maybe it won't. Become user. Let me register. I don't know, Flux OS or something. This should yell at me. There. Variable names should basically be snake case. It's going to yell at me, just the linter. Not that Ansible itself breaks. Just the linter by default likes camel case. And so I just like to, whoops. I just want my linter to shut up, get rid of that error. So I just follow the rules, right? So what do I normally do? I've kind of been all over the place. But I've been at my current job for like 6 months. I work for Lumen, and I'm a platform engineer, which is like the new DevOps, right? We just automate stuff, Kubernetes stuff all day long. Super fun. Middleware and deploying things to Kubernetes and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I'm like a super DevOps guy now. My last gig, I was on a full stack team for 1.5 years. So I was a big Golang dev, writing APIs and the whole full stack around that. We had our own Jenkins server. We set up our own cluster in GKE for each environment, and we had our own Helm charts, and we had our own Helm repo. Like, the full stack belonged to us. If we needed anything, we made it. We set up VPN connections into where our vault lived versus so that our clusters had access to vaults, and all that stuff was us. So it's weird being on a team where, oh, that's handled by that team, and this is handled by that team over there. It's weird that like my team doesn't do everything. I loved having that. There's pros and cons to that, right? That allows teams to go rogue, right? Because they can do whatever they want. But it also allows teams to like have no barriers. They get stuff done, right? So there's pros and cons to that. But that's what I did before. That's what I do now. Hey, Veer just joined. Sure, what are you working on? Yeah, so I was practicing not looking at chat, just doing a demo. I'm gonna hopefully clip that and like make a YouTube video out of it. So I just wanted to focus. But yeah, so I've built this project. It's the thing that's running right now. This Ansible project to deploy Flux nodes. If you don't know what that is, Flux is like a decentralized cloud compute built on the blockchain. So if you want to deploy an app or something, let's just come to run on flux.io. So this is Flux. If you want to deploy an app or something, you can deploy it in a decentralized way. Your data syncs in between the instances. It's deployed all over the world if you want. Built on the blockchain. So the blockchain is all about decentralization and power to the people and no censorship, right? As I want to deploy a site that says what I want, as long as it's not like illegal, you can't be censored, right? You can't take down my app. It's deployed in Germany and on someone's thing in Australia or whatever. So the way this works is, like if you were to deploy to AWS, for example, first of all, Jeff Bezos makes all the money, right? They're all his servers. It's all centralized. They control all that stuff, right? Instead, I run some nodes. And a node is just a computer that can receive workloads, right? It's like if someone wants to deploy an app, the Flux OS Hive Mind figures out where to deploy it. So it's decentralized and load balanced and all that. And it just gets deployed on nodes. But you can geolocate. And I want to, if I have like a legal reason for GDPR, if I'm a European entity, and so I have to keep the data in Europe or whatever, you can geolocate your app to just stay in Europe. But like if I wanted to deploy an app or a website or whatever, a database, you can just deploy that and it's all over the world. And it's not, the government can't just go to the United States and say, hey, you're a US entity, shut down this website. It's in my closet and some German's closet. It's all over the place. You can't shut this down. Blockchain, power to the people, blah, blah, blah. So that's Flux. That's one of the things that they do. Dutch. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm sort of separated from that a little bit, but that's Flux, is decentralized cloud compute. And so I've got servers that I've turned into Flux nodes. That's what this script is that I'm running. It's doing all the things necessary to just take a VM and offer it up to the Flux cloud. And in exchange for me providing the resources, I receive the Flux token, you know, like Bitcoin or whatever. It's token, it's worth US dollars, but I'm the one that gets a reward for my compute. It's not a central, you know, it's not like just AWS that owns all the servers and they're the ones that make all the money. It's like everyone that's got computers in their closets running for Flux, we're all sharing in the profit, I guess, if you want to say it like that. Where I'm paid for the compute that I provide. And there's different tiers of compute that you can provide. There's like a 4 CPU, 8 gig server, 8 gigs of RAM, 8 core, 16 gigs, and then a 16 core, 32 gig server. And so you get a different level of reward based on the level that you provide. So that's Flux. And there's a script to set that up, a bash script, but I'm a nerd and I like Ansible, so we built this project so I could use Ansible to set up my nodes because I'm lazy and I just want to do one command. So you're on WSL. Yeah, so it's interesting. On my personal desktop, I use WSL. At work, I SSH into a bona fide Ubuntu VM. It's all the same. It's magic. WSL is so great. I literally share the same config between all my VMs. That's the next demo that I want to get into, is everything about my setup, my NeoVim, my bash aliases, my bash prompt, installing Go, like all of that is automated with Ansible. I've just created Ansible for that. I'd love to get into that next if everyone's cool with moving on from the Flux thing. Yeah, crap, Twitter. What's going on Twitter? Hey, thanks for the follow. What is this post? Oh, posted about my mama. Getting some likes. Cool. Cool. Well, yeah, what are your WSL issues? I can't use WSL at work anymore. It got annoying to fix because on my Windows work laptop, we have a full tunnel VPN into work, and the way that WSL2's networking works is it basically gets boxed out of any network connection when Windows is on a full tunnel VPN. So it's like I can't pull code. My WSL is not on the internet, any network at all, when Windows is on a full tunnel VPN. So I've just got a VM that I SSH into instead of using WSL at work. But at home, I use WSL. It's all the same config. Anyway. Oh, very cool. Software dev, cybersecurity. Sorry if the chat's behind. This is my first stream that I'm using a platform called Restream. So OBS streams to Restream, and then Restream is pumping this out to Twitch and YouTube and X, Twitter, and all that. So I have no idea how long the delay is. So I apologize if I'm not like live chatting with you. It's my first time doing this, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, all of my dev environment, my Tmux config, everything about all of this is totally automated with Ansible, and I've got it all public on GitHub. So real quick, I know I just explained what the project was. All of that code is also out here, public. I'm TechDoofus on everything, and the repo is flux node install. I wonder if I can... If I do this, will this pump it out to all the platforms? Did y'all see that? I think that puts it on every chat. Did you guys see that chat on Twitch? I sent that message, or on YouTube. You should have seen I posted this link. That would be really cool if it sent it to all of them. And there is no chat for Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, boo-hoo, I guess. I don't know. There is no chat on Twitter streams. You got on Twitch. Cool. So that's the repo that I was just talking about. Hang on. My headphones thought I said the forbidden Google phrase. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is the repo. I just got done demoing, I suppose. But I'm now going to transition into demoing my dot files, which is also very cool, I think. What's going on here? My Moonlander config is not on GitHub. I can show it off here real fast and get you the link to this. This is my Moonlander config, which is just public on their site, right? It's got room to grow. I'm not even using these two buttons. I've only got a couple layers. I could probably get rid of these. I don't use QWERTY anymore, so I type Dvorak, right? By the way, I use Dvorak. Let me move this over here and get rid of myself real fast. I'm going to change this music as well. This is kind of strange. All right, cool. So this is my Moonlander config. I just use their site and their tool. Yeah, so I use Dvorak. This button here is a single alt tab. So if I hit it, where's my terminal? Just pressing that one button would switch me back and forth between two apps really nicely. And then this is just alt, backspace, delete, space, enter. If I hold this, I think it's longer than, I don't know how long I have to. No, I think you can post a link. Yeah, no problem. I don't have mods to set up. I'm a doofus. You think I'm professional over here? Cool. I will pull that up. But yeah, so if I hold this longer than, I think it's 150 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds, it becomes control, and that helps me a lot with a lot of hotkeys, right? Like Tmux is the trigger is Control B. Well, it's much easier to hit Control when it's right by my home row, right? While I'm holding, I'm going to turn my camera back on. Here we go. While I'm holding this lower button on my right thumb, or this one in the bottom corner, this is what my keyboard becomes. So if I need to hit a special symbol, my right hand will hold the button for this layer, and I've got all the special characters right there. I don't have to go shift and up to a number. On my left hand, I just have all of them right there, right here on my basically home row and up. I don't have to leave home row. Same thing with my other hand. If my left hand is holding this bottom corner here, I just immediately have a number pad on my right hand, which is great. Self-explanatory. It's really great. And as soon as I let go, I'm already back on home row and I'm back to typing. Cool. While my left hand holds this button, I get this layer, which is, I really use the heck out of home and end. I know that there's Vim shortcuts for, if you hit GG, you'll go to the beginning of a file. Well, I just hit Control Home and that takes me. I don't use, there's Vim shortcuts to go to the beginning and end of a line. I use home and end a lot. Skip songs in Spotify, volume control. And I can also move my mouse around like I'm playing a video game, like a WASD over here. I can left click, I can right click, just with my keyboard. I don't use this often, but in true Vimmer fashion, I technically don't need to use my mouse ever. So bragging rights for that. And yeah, that's my whole layout. These are left over from when I got this keyboard. I got this keyboard and I started learning Vim and I switched to Dvorak literally at the exact same time. As soon as this keyboard came in, I cold turkey switched everything. And so this layer was here for, in case I chickened out, and also typing passwords. I could not type my passwords on Dvorak. I had to switch to this to type I have long passwords, like 24 character passwords. I had to switch to this to type my password, and then I would switch back to Dvorak while I was learning. So that's my layout. I did not know that you could flash this stuff onto your keyboard without the program. So that's really interesting to me. Oh, and you've got screenshots. That's really cool. Oh, you've got the ErgoDock. So you have a bigger thumb cluster than I do. That's really interesting. Nice. I like having the 4. I don't know. It was easy to jump to from just a normal keyboard going to 4. Really great. I really like it. So I'll give you a star. Very cool. All right. Let's hop into my dot files. So, lives out here, dot files. This stores my config for everything. I don't set any setting manually. If I do, I quickly get it in my dot files. And my dot files is all Ansible. So I sit down on a brand new Ubuntu VM and I run this bash curl command, which does the initial setup. But then once my bash profile is on the system, I just have to run .files, and it will, let me just make a new thing here. Cool. Okay, so I'm in my .files. If I just run .files, it basically does a git pull to make sure I've got the updated version of the .files. And then it's Ansible. Ansible's gonna do everything and make sure stuff's updated, copy out my config if it ever changes. So this is exactly how it would look if this was a fresh system. It would just take longer and it wouldn't skip stuff. But yeah, it's all automated. And so if I ever change anything, I would just make the Ansible change here, push it up to GitHub, and then on some other computer, I would just rerun .files. Oh, cool. Here's a new version of Go. So I have Go 1.21.3. It detected 1.21.4 exists. So now it's going through the crap to install the newest version of Go. And then it moves on, right? I love this. This is how I set up my NeoVim, Bash, everything is this. And so I'd love to just, once this is finished, just walk through it. How is it set up? Where does the config live? And if you know Ansible, hopefully you eat this up. It's great. This music's weird too. I want to change this. Let's go to this. Anyway. All right, I'll peek at this while we're waiting. Cranky Developers Manifesto. That's funny. Oh, ZSH. That's a ship I haven't hopped on yet. I just still bash. How are you setting up your things though? Are you stowing or is there a script that installs this? Or do you just git clone this into your like .config folder maybe? No, it's fine. Oh, tools. Okay, tools. Install. Oh, you got a brew. How are you? I see. You're creating symlinks manually for each of your config directories into your .config. Yeah, okay. You may like my version instead. Before I was using Ansible for all of this, I was kind of doing the same thing. I was using a tool called Stow, which is the same behavior of creating a symlink. It's like you define the link between the two folders and Stow will copy stuff in and out via symlink type stuff. You know, you stow the files here or stow them there, whatever. I will show you, I've got a, like, when I ran this .files command, I'm going to star this just so I have it. Guess support the nerds. Okay, so my .files is done. Let me come up here. Here's mine. This is my install script, basically. On first run, I just have to run like a curl command to get this, and that's documented on my thing. But basically, it's going to make sure that Ansible's installed. If it's not, it installs it. I only run Ubuntu, so this is, apt. Some Python stuff or accessory Ansible stuff. And then it's going to make sure if the repo doesn't exist locally, I'm going to clone it for the first time. And if it does, I'm just going to make sure that it's updated. I do a git pull, right? I make sure I've got my Ansible modules updated or installed for the first time. I use some Ansible modules. What do I use? Okay, Kubernetes Core and Community General. I just make sure these are on the system and updated. And then I run the Ansible playbook, which the playbook is here, right? I commit all this to GitHub, you can literally fork my repo and run it. This Ansible will pull down private SSH keys, my GitHub username, my GitHub email, all OpenAI tokens, all that stuff gets created because I've got it stored encrypted. So my only job is to get the secret for this in the right file on my system. It's my job to get it's like a 200 character long password and using Ansible Vault. And then you see here that Vault path. I just have to get this file here with the secret. It's my job to get the secret there. I've got it in my personal. I use 1Password for my Vault. So I just have to get that token there. And if it's there, I run the playbook with that secret. And so then I've got stuff in here that's gonna, when I, configure Git, it's gonna pull this stuff. Here's my OpenAI key. This is all in GitHub, but I've got the secret. And so I can safely commit all this stuff to GitHub. And I'm gonna have these variables locally. I've got SSH keys, public and private SSH keys that I want on all my systems. I can commit this to GitHub because it's encrypted. It's my job to handle the secret, right? So that's pretty cool to me. On a fresh VM, I can sit down at a brand new Ubuntu, just get the password file in the right spot, and then run that bash curl command, and this will I'll just have exactly what I'm sitting at right now. NeoVim's configured, all my secrets, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of artifacts and stuff. Yeah, I love using Ansible. So that's how I get secrets on the system. Each role just, references these things. But that's the whole .file script. Is at the end of the day, it's just going to run this playbook command, which was down here, right? It did some magic stuff at the beginning. And, gosh, Tmux. Yep, it did a git pull, made sure my Galaxy modules are updated, run the playbook with the Vault file, and then this is Ansible running. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Oh, yeah, so this is my first time. I appreciate that. Thank you for the sub. I'm using Restream. I literally set this up 5 minutes before going live. I have no idea where my alerts are. I just found out that Restream gives me all the chat in one spot. This is all new. I'm very sorry that something didn't show up. I will try to fix it. I just have never used this before. Anyway, let's take a look at the roles. For example, my bash config, right? Everything is beautifully in a role over here. I can, every time I flail my arms, I see my video over here freak out. Let me just come back to this or something. Everything is if I want to change or add a bash alias or a function or add something to my path or something, it goes in this role. The role stores all of the config for everything. My bash config lives in the bash role. All of my NeoVim config, all my plugin files, all my Lua files, it's all in Ansible. And then the tasks in the role get the files where they need to go. So a role is a way of grouping a set of tasks. So this is built into Ansible, and I know you know some Ansible, or you're new and want to learn it. That would help me use certain words. Yeah, okay. So here's the playbook. So I run some tasks at the beginning, and then I just run a role. So I say include a role, and I just say the role name. And Ansible is configured wherever the playbook lives. It assumes that right there should be a roles folder, and then it will look for the name of the role. So I just do this with a loop, but like if I went over to my FluxNode install thing here, here's a different playbook that actually lists roles manually. If we crack open flux.yaml, yep, this is the list of tasks. Here's the playbook, here's the hosts, import these variables, and then run the common role. run the UFW role. All of that are just folders in the roles directory, right? Yeah, so the way I'm doing it is I've got a variable file up here and it defines my default roles. If I don't specify anything, it's going to automatically just run these roles. Now I pulled this one out of default. I want to only run this if I say to run it specifically. Same thing with Alacrity, just, whatever. But by default, it will run these. Unless I specify one. That's just how my playbook has some logic in it to do this. But yeah, it'll run these by default. Yay. So let's look at Bash. Let's just look at it. By default, it finds the role, finds the tasks directory, and looks for main.yaml. That's just how Ansible works. It will always look for this file. And then if you want to split things up from there, you sure can, which is what I do. I wanted to structure this in a way where if I wanted to sit down at like a Fedora box, run my dot files. Yay, I support Fedora. Obviously, Fedora doesn't use apt, so I'd have to write tasks just for Fedora. So I'm saying Ansible can auto-detect the system that it's on. What family of OS am I? If it's Debian, run the Ubuntu file. If it's Darwin, run the Mac file. If I wanted to support a Mac, then I'd have tasks that like did a brew install instead of an apt install. So I wanted, just from the get-go, to be able to support multiple OSs if I ever did that. Right now it's just all Ubuntu, but I thought I don't want to have to refactor anything if I want to be cool later and have multi-OS. So the same dot files will support all these OSs. Long story short, so it, for Bash, finds the role, finds the main.yaml, and this says, if it's Debian, which it always is, run ubuntu.yaml. So these are the tasks that my Bash role does. I use a prompt thing called oh my bash. So it like downloads the oh my bash install script from here and runs it if it's not already installed. And then, like I said, all of my config lives inside of the bash role. It's just in files. So this task says copy bashrc into my profile.bashrc. Just replace the default one with my bashrc. Whoops, this one. Ignore the error, sorry. Set file type equals shell. So this is the bashrc I want on my system. It's custom, right? Here we go. So copy the bashrc, copy my profile file, all of it just lives over here. Copy my, make sure this config folder exists, copy my themes, make sure my default terminal is user bin bash, set private variables. So this is where if I have my secrets, like, vault secrets, and I provide a vault file, it's going to create some private files with the secrets in them, plain text on my system. So my system will then have the decrypted version of my OpenAI key or whatever. Yeah, anyway, so it gets those on there. And then it's going to, which one of these? Copy config. Where do I copy bash? Oh, here's where I copy this entire bash folder into my profiles.config folder. All right, so then all of these aliases and function definition files and stuff get copied, and my bashrc loops over every shell file in that directory and imports it. So there's no symlink. It's just, it gets all the files dynamically in the right spot. My Ansible tasks do that. Yeah, and that's all for bash, right? That's all my bash stuff. So if I ever want to add, I've been doing a little bit of Kubernetes stuff. I've been adding some custom completion and some aliases here. Where did I put those? Oh, no, the recent one I did was this one. So I added a new NeoVim function where I want to edit code that lives on a remote system. But I want to use my local, I don't want to SSH into some place and use just vanilla Vim. That's boring. I want to use my local NeoVim and my local NeoVim LSPs and all my linters and all of that stuff. VS Code lets you do this, right? You can remote SSH via VS Code and you get all your extensions and all your magic. So I wanted that same thing with NeoVim. So I made, let me just do 20. So this function will recreate the same effect. I'm going to edit. I want NeoVim to open this folder on this server with my local NeoVim. I get all this stuff. These files live remotely and I can edit them and they are edited on the remote system with all my local environment magic. Pretty awesome. Because I hate SSHing into a server and oh yeah, I know Vim, but I don't have all my cool stuff. So I made that. That was pretty cool. So all I had to do is get that into a file and then just run my dot files and it's gonna get this file on my system, right? Hi, why Brave browser? It's kind of crypto secure and it blocks ads and stuff. I've had a lot of people want me to like use Firefox because it's like faster than Chromium, which I probably believe, but I don't know. I just use Brave. Shrug. I'm not like a Brave zealot or anything like that, but I don't know. I just think it's fun to not use Chrome or Edge, you know, get out of the Microsoft ecosystem a little bit. That's why you use Brave. But yeah, so this is my dot files. Everything, all my config. I install this tool K9s. I've got a config file for it. The tasks, just check if a new version exists. If it does all the needful to go out and grab a GitHub release, extract it, get it in the right spot. Man, this music is weird. I'm going to change this. Let's do this. Cool. Yeah, but that's my dot files. It's a bash script. So I'm just, where's the bash script? Any argument that I pass to the dot files command, I pass it directly to my Ansible playbook command. So any Ansible arguments, so if I ran Ansible playbook, blah, 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 I want to run the bash tag. I can just do it right here. And it passes that tag to the playbook command, and then it only runs bash. Or I can say, run all the defaults, but skip bash. You know, there's a tag for that in Ansible. Skip tags, bash. And it just will run everything else except bash. Yeah, it lists it here, but it's actually going to skip it. So anyway, so that's my dot files. And Ansible is idempotent, and I just like how it works. And so I use it for all my dot files. All my tools, blah, 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 blah. So that's my dot files. Yay. Yeah, so that lives out here. I've got quite a bit of documentation out here, actually, for it. Yeah, why Ansible, and this should show you how, like, if you fork this and replace a couple things, you can have all of this yourself, and you can start with my config if you want, but then yeah, go and customize your stuff, because most of my config is public, right? You just won't get my secrets, right? So you'll fork it, just come into this all file and just replace this stuff. If you know how Ansible Vault works, just replace these with yours or get rid of them completely. Put your own encrypted SSH keys out here, or just get rid of it entirely. The playbook won't break if this stuff's not here, right? But then yeah, you can have my exact bash config and my exact You know, if you want Go to get installed, you can fork this and delete a bunch of these roles. If you don't use Nala, you don't even know what that is, you don't want NPM, just delete it. But you have your own forked this. It's a great starting point if you want to use it. So anyway, how's everyone's Thanksgiving going? It's weird to stream on a holiday. But I'm stuck at home, so I just thought, oh, let's just stream. Again, I will ask, how does the stream look? If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, I don't know. Comment that it looks great. I've seen streams in the past go through Restream, which is what I'm using, right? I'm just on Restream, and it's streaming to all of these. And it was pretty terrible. And I just jumped into using it. So I'm hoping everything looks and sounds okay and nothing is weird. So let me know if you can. Oh, what should we work on now? Holy moly, I'm missing a lot of good food. Wow, that looks awesome. Nah, that's one thing about being stuck at home. I'm missing all this good food. I will have another family Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I will get a lot of good food, but man, it's hard to see that. What's new on Twitter? So I think Restream, yeah, it like made a post on my behalf, right? Okay, and Josh commented on it. Okay, so it can get comments. I guess people can retweet the stream, and I think on Twitter when it's done, it'll just be a stored video that you can watch on Twitter, I guess. This is my first time doing this, so I don't know. Anyway, here, that's my dot files. It's all Ansible. It's great. Yeah. Let me check on. I think this is just a quirk. I'll probably delete it. Yep. Anyway. Let's move this over here. Oh, yeah, Nala. I just love showing this off. Nala is a wrapper around apt. So instead of like this gross apt update, you get this nice GUI. I updated before this, but it would like show you specific versions of what updated. It downloads them async instead of one by one with raw apt. It's just really pretty. Yeah, my dot files. It installs ASCII Aquarium. You get a nice little fish. B-top. This is B-Pi-top technically, but yeah, it's just really great. All this automagically. I just didn't ever like Marsky. I just never liked the Symlink route, which I did, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I revamped all this to be Ansible. It just kind of got messy and weird, and it wasn't dynamic. Ansible is dynamic. I just add a role, and I'm not presuming upon the logic of a Symlink in a big bash script. It's like my bash script is small, and I let Ansible take care of, this is how NeoVim has to be configured, and this is how Nala has to be configured. It like all lives in the role. I don't have a big bash script that's like ever growing and getting ugly, and so that's why I do it. So yeah. Yeah. Let me do this. There. Okay, I pulled up my Twitch dashboard. So, yeah, got some follows. Rave, thanks for following. I see the sub now 20 minutes ago. Thank you. I appreciate it. I guess Restream doesn't show me this stuff, so I'll just have to keep that pulled up. But yeah, what's everyone doing hanging out with me? Why aren't you hanging out with your family? I don't know. Oh, I guess, Marsky, you're where are you from? You said Dutch? Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. What time is it for you then? All the way over there. And then here's the delay that I'm not used to getting answers, if you're even still here. Yep, I showed off FluxNode install. I showed off my dot files a little bit. I got my PR done. I didn't really have anything else planned that I wanted to work on. Maybe I could work on this function that I just showed off a little bit ago. This. It's very, very, very basic. This, I would love to add, like, maybe rewrite this in Go even or something, but like add a flag parser. I would love to be able to say fs and then like add a directory flag. And then add like a server flag or a host flag or something instead of positional parameters. Because I want to be able to add extra arguments, right? Like sometimes I need to add like to the SSH command directly. Like if this, pretend this was an SSH command, I would add like host algorithm. What the heck? And then I could like plus equals SSH DSS or something. Because these are positional, I have to specify a second value in order to specify a third value. But right now, if I just specify the server, it'll default to the root path of that server. It'll SSH, create a, SSH mount at the root path of the entire server remotely. So again, this is me in my local NeoVim editing files over SSH, basically. But if I want to specify weird SSH arguments without specifying a path, I can't really do that because it's all positional. But if this was like -s for server, let's say, and dash, I don't know, maybe this would be optional and just directly pass whatever's in -o. Something like this. Whatever I pass to -o, just pass exactly what you're going to pass to the actual SSH -o, maybe. But I can only do this if I have an arg parser, and I've never been good at this with bash. I would literally just have to Google bash arg parser if I could spell. I know there's like you make a while loop and there's like a get opt thing that will recognize some of this stuff, and then oh, interesting. I don't really like that. I don't like that. Yeah, get opts. And like where you put the colon defines if it's like required or mandatory or optional, something like that. Hey, yeah, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. And thanks for leaving the view behind. Thanks for lurking. Gotta help the algorithm, right? Yeah, so I think these are required, and if the colon's on the backside, that means the F flag is optional. I think is what that means. So let's try that. This probably is really small to y'all. 100. Where the heck did that go? It can only handle short. Yeah, it'll only handle one letter things. Because if you case a whole word, it's going to treat it, each letter of the word, as a separate argument and like package all the args together, which is, that's what's been annoying to me. I come from PowerShell, where you can define all the entire word, and then it's alias and it's shorthand and all this parameter sets, and these are grouped together. And if you use this fourth one, it doesn't go with these other ones. But with Bash, it's really hard. All right, so I'm gonna do case. What was it? It was oh, we start with the while loop. While get opts. Or is it get opt? I'll just start with H. Usage there, return 0, invalid option. So I just saved that file, which means now I can just dot files bash. I'll copy it down. I mean, I could just write like a source command to import this file, but just to show you an example. If that was my permanent change and I wanted to deploy this, cool. -H. There. It tried to run, but I specified -H. If I specify something else, I should get the error, but it didn't work. So yeah, this is like not working, I guess. All right, I'm going to get out of that, and now I'm going to source. So I want something like D for like remote directory. But I want it to have a default. So I'm going to set it first. And if it's provided, then I want to set local remote dir to opt arg. I think that's what this, yep, opt arg. And don't return. If it's provided, set it. Otherwise it defaults to that. Okay. Now H is broken. Why is H broken? The heck? Alright, so none of it's working. Why does it work once? That's the other thing. I don't understand. That's annoying. Does this need to be like here or something? Yeah, see, I don't understand these. Oh, I need to make this local. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Discard the options. Please don't be ugly. Oh, there's nothing there. Cool. I'm trying to figure out which is optional and what's required. And I don't want to exit. So... See, why does that make them both optional? Unless it only wrote it that way because I wrote it that way. I thought it was like something star. Well, at least that works. And it's optional. I don't want a message. I just want to show oh, I don't really care about that. It defaults to that. Or if I do that, okay, cool. So that does get set and it's optional. Then I want, that. Remote dir, local server. This one's required. That one's optional. It's supposed to yell at me. Maybe I just need my own if. There. Let me say, cool. I guess I just have to check afterwards. Kind of annoying. But what if I provide something that's not even... It's not a flag. Okay. Like that. That's still good. That still works. And if I have -s, it's happy. If I have -s and something random, I get yelled at. Illegal option. -c. Where does that come from? Why do I get this error before mine? Oh, it's probably because it's not here. GetOps probably yells. Interesting. invalid option. But it doesn't tell me which option. Yeah, it doesn't tell me which option here. So why does opt-arg work? Guess I'll just leave it like that. I want a function. I just realized I'm pasting this all over the place. It'd be nice if it was in one spot. There we go. Oh, it's in one spot. One spot for printing the usage. How's this? Also curious how far behind this is. How's this? Oof, gross. All right, so that's cool. Okay, now I guess rewrite this stuff. So that it works. This will be server. Crap. Okay, and it still yells. Awesome. I want to get rid of that. That should be server. That's already set. Remote dir, this needs to be server. 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 And server. Oh. What did I do wrong here? Oh. There we go. All right, cool. Mounts to home. That's the only user on there. But now, yeah, they're like named. That should error. And if I just have -s 21, it should just mount to the root path. Awesome. That means if I ever had to customize what the heck I give SSHFS, I guess I should explain this. I've been doing this whole time. So how this function works is I'm using this tool, SSHFS, which is what creates like a remote mount of files via SSH to a local path. And then I can open NeoVim against that path, and the SSHFS mount knows any operations done on the local files need to be written over the SSH pipe to the remote. So I'm technically editing a local file, but there's a process, like a watcher or process in place with a persistent SSH connection with those files that writes the changes remotely, technically. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I just decided to put these files here in this .sshfs. And when I create a session, it creates that mount as the name of the server. And I could browse this technically, right? It's not just use, you don't have to just use SSHFS for NeoVim. I can mount remote paths locally and then do whatever I want to them locally. I'm just running NeoVim on top of it. But technically, it just like, I'm creating a directory as the name of the server. Oh, this needs to be server as well. Okay. I make a directory with that name if it doesn't exist, which it never should. And then I'm creating an SSHFS mount. Just assume the permissions. And mount that remote server at that path locally to home SSHFS, the name of the folder that I just made right here. So that's how I'm linking this remote path over SSH to this local folder. And then I open NeoVim against that directory. What the heck is up with this? I open NeoVim against that directory. And then once I exit NeoVim, once that process is done, I'm using fusermount to unmount that path. So break the SSH connection and then clean up that, just delete the folder like I was never there, right? So it's, yeah, the folder doesn't exist before, doesn't exist after. It's just behaves like it's just a one-off, like I'm editing it over SSH, but that's what's going on behind the scenes is I'm creating this mount and then I open NeoVim against it. Let me come down here. Yeah, so I'm on this remote server. This is one of my Flux nodes, so I could come into like Flux benchmark and, you know, edit this. You can edit all these files from locally with my local NeoVim. And any changes actually get written remotely. So that's pretty cool. I made a post about this recently. I thought this was pretty cool because there's features that I lack coming from VS Code to NeoVim. And that's one of them is like remote editing with your local editor, right? That's one of them. Another one's a debugger. I won't get into that. There's NeoVim debuggers. I just haven't gone down the rabbit hole to spend the time to set that up. But yeah, here's a post I made about this. Yeah. So. Ugh, come on. And then, yeah, so it works. And now it's a little better, which is nice. So now that it's finished, got the usage. I support those two. I don't understand this syntax. I just don't get it. But now I can just make a pull request out of this, or oh, okay. I need to make a add args. Cool. I'll just say verse positional. That'll add the file, commit it with that message, push it up, create a pull request in GitHub, auto approve my own pull request, merge that pull request into GitHub, delete the local and GitHub branch, check me back out into main, and git pull. So now I'm on main, pulled from GitHub, and all of that crap just happened. Freaking lazy, man. It's great. That's in my DAW files. Let's go get functions. GACP. In my brain, this stands for git add commit push. So just YOLO add every file, commit with whatever message you just gave the GACP function, and then push it remotely to that branch. If you're in a branch, it will push to the remote branch. It'll make the branch in GitHub. But if you're on main, it'll just push us to main or whatever, right? This GACP GH is like the GitHub GH extension of that. Git add commit push everything up to GitHub, and then create a PR, auto approve it, auto merge it as a merge commit, and then delete the branches. So that was wonderful. That's the first time I've actually used it for something real. So that's cool. Anyway. Well, if there's no other questions on this stuff, I might end this here. We've got Thanksgiving here tomorrow. My family's coming over, and I gotta clean the house. I'm by myself, but I still gotta get some chores done, I guess, for the wife before she gets back. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, this was great. I've asked several times and gotten feedback several times that the stream looked great, sounded great. I'll go and look at the video on Twitter since no one from Twitter can talk. But yeah, I might stream like this from now on. If it's good, why not, right? Yeah, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and X, and YouTube. But, like Marsky subscribed, which I really appreciate. You don't have to do that, but I didn't get a pop-up or anything, so I'll have to figure out how to watch notifications or things from Twitch, even though I'm using Restream. So I'll have to figure that out, but this is my first time. Thanks for tuning in. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And thanks for hanging out with Doofus. So I'll wait another minute. Like I said, if there's nothing else, at the end. Yeah, I heard some good stuff throughout. So yeah, if you want, I'm not going to beg for followers, but I'm very close to 700 and that grinds my gears. Yeah, who cares? Who cares? But yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'm really going to try to be more regular about streaming. I used to be very consistent and it was very fun. And I've fallen off the wagon. And I've got twins coming down the pipe. So we'll see what happens after the twins come. But I have a lot of fun when I stream. And I get work done. So usually, I guess I should say. Usually I get work done. But yeah, always be willing to ask a question. I love getting questions. Don't ever think you're interrupting me. I love to just stop and explain crap. It's fun. That's the whole reason I do this. I don't stream to get work done. I stream to like teach. That's the whole thing. My niche is I'm the idiot who's willing to stream. And hopefully people learn something by watching an idiot struggle with something. I'm definitely not a pro, but yeah, that's my niche, is like, hopefully I'm not intimidating to ask a question to. And if I am, I don't know. That's my fault, I guess. I'm just an idiot. So ask me questions. I love it. Yeah. So I've got 2 kids already, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then twins coming. So that will be one heck of a ride when they show up. Yeah. It'll be a lot, but I'm up to the task. It is what it is. Yeah. So, all right. This was fun. Have a great rest of your holiday season. I'm on call, so hopefully nothing breaks. Maybe I should check. Is anything broken? Nope. Yep, I'm all good. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully I stream again soon. I don't have a schedule, so we'll see. Be on the lookout, I guess. So, all right. Ciao. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Have a good one.